Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 10-Minute Teacher Podcast, episode number 655. I'm Vicki Davis, and I'm so excited about the show called How a 17-Year-Old Student in New York is Giving Back, where I interviewed Jameson, who is in his apartment in New York, and he started a volunteer organization. I promise you it is worth the listen. I also want to thank We Schools and the All-State Foundation for sponsoring today's podcast. Being a volunteer is a great way for kids to develop social-emotional learning skills. Let's celebrate National Volunteer Week next week, April 20th through 25th, by joining We and the All-State Foundation for Let's Volunteer Now. There's a free online event happening today, Friday, April 17th at 1 p.m. Eastern on the We Movement Facebook channel. And let's all celebrate National Volunteer Week. You'll hear more about them at the end of the podcast. So sit back and enjoy.
Welcome to the 10-Minute Teacher Podcast, hosted by author, educator, speaker, and mom, the cool cat teacher, Vicki Davis. High school student Jameson Cohen was looking forward to another great baseball season. Instead, he ended up at home and started developing ways to give back to his community. He launched a program called Circle of Friends, and it is really taking off. Of course, Vicki just had to find out more. So let's join the conversation with Vicki and Jameson right now.
Yes, we can give back even when we are at home. Now, National Volunteer Week will be April 20th through 25th. And I'm encouraging all of you educators and your students out there to volunteer, but we can volunteer at home. So today we have Jameson Cohen, a 17-year-old from New York City who is passionate about taking action in his community. So Jameson, first of all, tell us, how are you and how long have you been at home now?
Hi, Ms. Davis. I'm doing really well. I've been at home for about a month now, and I started learning at home about 2 weeks ago, and it's going well so far. My family's doing well. So yeah, everything's okay so far.
Yeah, besides the interesting nature of, being a teenager at home, stuck with your parents, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I have a teenager too. I totally get it. So let's talk about some of the ways that you are giving back and doing things from home for your community. Just talk about kind of what you've started doing.
Yeah, of course. So at first, like I'm sure many people are, I was kind of confused and it was new to me as to how to find a way to volunteer in a time like this. And it all kind of started when I overheard my mom talking to a local restaurant owner, Charles Devine, who owns a restaurant, Lexington Pizza Parlor, about how he had literally laid out some of his own money to start making meals for hospitals nearby. And I knew I had to get involved. So I texted him and I got involved the next day. We made 70 meals for the Allen New York Presbyterian Hospital uptown in Inwood, Manhattan. And it was just so inspiring. So I kept doing that and I've been doing that, but then I still wanted to do more. So I had this idea, which became what Circle of Friends is today. And it's essentially a way for high school students like myself to connect with the children of anyone struggling during this time or anyone really putting themselves out there to try and stop this virus. Frontline workers, medical workers, essential workers, patients, anyone struggling right now. And so we connect with their kids and we play games and sing and dance. And if they want, we do homework help, but we really do anything to try and make this a more positive time for everyone.
Now, I know that we're going to have a link because you're encouraging people to join in as part of National Volunteer Week, and we'll have the link over at Cool Cat Teacher. But how do you screen to make sure that, the teens are legit and the kids are legit and all of that? How do people sign up?
So far, I've been using mostly people who I know from schools around New York City. So we haven't had to do a very extensive screening process, but usually when someone joins, I ask them to give me some of their interests so that I can match them with people who sign up for the program. And then also I will usually try to figure out a little bit about them, how many other things they have going on right now. Because if they don't have time for a Circle of Friends, it's probably not worth getting them involved. Maybe they're already doing a lot of volunteering and they don't have to worry about that. But yeah, I haven't had to have a very extensive screening process yet, because I think most people just really want to get involved and find a way to help others.
So when you say time, how much time are your Circle of Friends spending with the kids that you match them with?
So not much at all. Every meeting is an hour long, and I wouldn't say most people have to do a meeting more than once or twice a week. If they want to do more, of course they can. They actually have the opportunity to sign up as responses come in for people who sign up. So they can pick who they meet with. And we kind of try to do that, like I said, based on interest, how we match them. But yeah, it's not too much time. It's usually, I would say, 2 hours a week, sometimes 3 if they really want to do a lot more.
So, Jameson, tell us some of the stories that you think are like, wow, like I couldn't have imagined how this would turn out.
Yeah. So, well, I'll say at first I was kind of worried because it wasn't really getting going that fast. And I was kind of thinking, like, how is this really going to do that much? Like, I know that I thought it would at first, but, I'm not stopping the virus. I'm not doing anything huge. And my mom said something to me that was really interesting. She said, even if you help 20 families be a little bit more positive about this, even if it's 10, even if it's 5, those are 20, 10, or 5 families who are better off because of this program. And I think that that's really what's so important about volunteering right now is that it doesn't need to be so big. It just needs to be something that can help people a little bit, because if everyone's doing something little, it can have a really big effect. So I think that when my mom said that to me, that was one of the things that really struck a chord with me. Another thing was just how I actually had one of my first calls the other day, and the kids who I was with, it was 2 little boys from Tennessee, and they were just so excited to be seeing a new face. I mean, like you said, everyone's kind of stuck in their house with their family, and they see them every day now. So getting to see someone new and getting to talk to someone who has similar interests to you, but has a very different background from you, comes from a very different place, can be a really cool experience for people, I think.
Wow. So 2 boys from Tennessee, how did their families sign them up and hear about you?
So I actually have a teacher at my school who happened to know them, and he sent them the link. And so the way that people sign up is there's a very simple Google form. And if anyone's interested, they can email me at cofriends2020@gmail.com, and I'd be happy to send them the link. But the link is a way for families to sign up. And it's as simple as saying your child's names and ages, your email, the times that you would like to meet, and your child's interests so that we can match them with a high school student.
Awesome. So what did you and your 2 Tennessee buddies talk about?
They were extremely interested in sports, which is one of my big interests. So that's why I ended up doing that meeting. And we did a whole bunch of really cool sports games. So we did this sports naming game that I always play with my family, where someone says an athlete, and then the next person has to say an athlete whose first name starts with the last letter of the previous athlete's last name. We did sports hangman. We did sports trivia. We really did a lot of stuff around sports because that seemed to be what really got them excited.
Well, that's awesome. So about how many families are you impacting right now? Is it 5, 10, 20 or more?
So it's getting towards 10 right now. So like I said, it started off a little bit slowly, but we're not too worried. It only started about a week and a half ago. But we have enough volunteers right now to start taking a whole bunch more families. So really, anyone who hears this who wants to sign up, please feel free to do so. We would be happy to have you. It's a completely free program, and it's really just a way for people to have fun in a time like this. And it's not just great for the families who sign up, but it's great for the volunteers as well. Because like I said, we're getting to see brand new faces too and interact with brand new people.
Something tells me you're going to have quite a few things to work with. How many volunteers do you have ready to go?
We have between 20 and 30 volunteers. I'm not sure the exact number, but new people signing up every day to be a volunteer. People who are really just excited and want to be a part of it. And so far, the volunteers have been from New York City, but to be honest, we're happy to have anyone from anywhere. So anyone who wants to sign up as a volunteer, we're also happy to have. Anyone who wants to sign up on either side, we would be totally happy to have.
So this is a great way to celebrate National Volunteer Week. And Jameson, are you glad you've started on this journey in addition to your schoolwork?
For sure. I mean, when you have so much more time like this to deal with things like schoolwork, like I said, at first, it felt kind of weird and it felt a little empty. And volunteering for me seems to fill that void. It gives me something to do that makes me feel good about myself and that makes me be able to help others in a real way. And it's really fun. And it's just a great way to spend this time, especially, right now. There's no better time to get involved, I think, than right now when there's so much need and so much more time to get involved.
Well, educators, here is a young man that you can share this story with your students. I would love to hear from you on Twitter at Cool Cat Teacher to hear how you and your students are volunteering. How are you going to celebrate National Volunteer Week? Yes, we can volunteer at home. We've had some episodes talking about how to give back from home. And this is an example of a young man, Jameson, in New York, who is working to make the world a better place, just one kid and one connection at a time. Thanks, Jameson.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank Thank you for listening to the 10-Minute Teacher Podcast. Be sure and connect with us on Twitter, or you can subscribe to this podcast on iTunes. We are very excited because the We Schools program, made possible by the Allstate Foundation, is kicking off National Volunteer Week with Let's Volunteer Now. This is a free online event to help discover how virtual volunteering can help your students build social-emotional learning skills. It will be hosted today, Friday, April 17th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the @We Movement Facebook channel. And check out these special guests. Social-emotional learning expert Dr. Amy Cranston will be there along with her brother, award-winning actor Brian Cranston, and they're going to be joined by remarkable students and We Volunteer Now campaign participants Tyler and Jameson. We're celebrating National Volunteer Week with you, and this is a great time to start. Don't miss Let's Volunteer Now. Today, April 17th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the @We Movement Facebook channel. Thanks for listening, and we hope you can join us next time.